Nana. My man.
What's going on?
There were some personal things that happened on the show this evening. So you opened up about losing a friend. How have you managed since then?
Staying busy, like Talal said. And then first and foremost was just praying often, right? There's a higher power that controls all things.
Correct.
So you have no control over life or death, right? God gives us life and then death as well. So when it is your time, you will go. But speaking on Emmanuel, yeah, it was very, very painful, right?
It still is painful, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, the thing is, like Emmanuel touched lives. I was telling Anthony and Sid, I remember when I was going through it, I was like, the things that I remember the most is the relationship that him and I had that nobody ever knew about. Right? We went to high school together, and I told Tony, I said, he inspired me to work on my singing. He could sing and angels would stop and just listen. I mean that so seriously. I remember in the auditorium, whenever he would come up to sing praises, because he would lead worship, everybody would be silent. You could hear pins drop.
Wow.
Because his voice was that powerful, you know? But yeah, it's when you lose somebody close to you, there is no explanation. I think that you cannot explain death, right? We can't explain life. This life that we're living, you cannot explain it. Each to their own, right? Everybody's journey, everybody's path is different. So I don't have like an explanation, but I feel deeply, and I think that I mean it'll be with me forever till I die, right? So just every day, just continue to pray. I am much better though. I'm in a much better space.
You look good.
I appreciate you. I'm in a much better space. But yeah, losing Emmanuel was that was tough.
And can I just say I was there to witness it, and you know, being a music engineer, and just identifying that his strength overall, I commend you for that. The way you handled the situation, coming in and just recording like nothing ever happened, but you still used that towards, you know.
You channeled that.
You channeled that.
Wow.
So I just want to commend you for that, bro.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. I thank you. Thank you.
Where's the box of tissue?
Oh yeah, it was a very tough night, yo. Like yeah, that.
So sorry for your loss.
It was tough. Yeah. Like everybody was just like it was crazy. Like I was mind blown. Like I said, there's no explanation. I was very mind blown.
Right.
I came in with the agenda to rap. Like I would, like I was
working on the theme song for the
horror
Halloween
movie.
Yeah.
So I had already worked on it, right? So I was prepared. Like I came into the studio, I was ready. Anthony was ready. Sid was ready. I think my mistake was I opened Instagram. Like I had not opened Instagram in like 2-3 days. I had not opened up my socials because I was just locked in.
Right.
So right before, Anthony's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah." So he's sitting to the right of me, and I'm sitting exactly like this. I open up Instagram, and I didn't understand like the picture at first. So my eyes scanned name, date, death. Like it went 1, 2, 3, and then I was like, so I just stopped. I said, "There's no way," and I went straight to comments.
Oh my goodness.
And so I opened the comments and I scroll because everybody, like nobody's saying anything, right? Like nobody's saying anything, and then I see, oh, there's no way this is real. Boom, I switched to Twitter. And then I go type Emmanuel, and then I see he used to be part of a group called Sanctification. And I see Harry Metal Nunu and Robertson, and they're just like, and then I just lost it. Because it's crazy, because I had thought of him. I remember I told him that when I come back to Ghana, we were gonna do a song together, right? So, and I had thought of him like 2-3 weeks before. Bro, I went ballistic. Like I went outside and I was just yelling. Like I was just yelling. Like it was it hurt. It's like somebody's taking a knife that's been put in coal and they're just tearing your skin. Like it was.
It never leaves.
Never leaves.
I found out that one of my good friends, she was battling cancer. We had spoke in text message, and she told me that the cancer spread it to her stomach, and I could relate to you that night. Remember, I was on the phone with you.
Absolutely.
And I felt your pain because I went through something like that. I was texting her and no response. And then I got a call from her brother responding back to all my calls because I was blowing her phone up because she had said, hey, I don't think I'm going to make it. I just thought about that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
My condolences. I'm so sorry.
It's been like 2 years, but
Yeah, bro.
I'm still, it's still there. It never leaves. It still
Never leaves.
kind of sits on your chest.
Yeah.
And then when I found out that she died, the funeral was literally the next day. And this just all kind of resonated with me. It's still there. We were like always together. When I first opened my clothing store, she had a Pearl store in the same mall that I was in. And we would sit on the bench and talk, and that's where that bench came from.
Oh my goodness.
So
It's all good though, Tony. You know,
Well, she's
like,
here with you.
It's all good. God is a.
And you have the support of all these people who love you, care for you, and who are making your dreams come true.
always.
Yes.
You know what I really liked about when this show idea came up was that we want to do a reality show about following our paths as people. You know, you're an entrepreneur, you have a dream, but you have a life.
Right.
I don't care who you are. You could be a celebrity, you could be
Right.
a person that works, you know, a normal job. Everyone has dealt with these things. So 5.5 years ago, y'all that know me know that my girlfriend passed away. And that was been probably one of the hardest things for me in my life. And while I was going through that, I was thinking about what you were saying. I learned by talking to people, because I couldn't shut up about it. I needed to get it out. I'm not one of those people who can just bottle up all my feelings. I need to talk. And what I really realized that really put things in perspective for me, and this is what I hope the show will help others to identify. Hey, we're normal people. We deal with stuff too. But when I was going through that, dealing with her passing, it was an abrupt. She overdosed, and she died. She was 32 years old. She's beautiful. Like, was very unexpected. But with talking with people that summer, I realized that at any one point in time, there's so much suffering in the world, right? And people can be nasty. People can be mean. People can just like be all about themselves. But really, the lesson for me, and what I hope, if you get nothing out of watching this other than this, is take the time to be empathetic and have some compassion, because you never know. At some point in your life, you will be in those same shoes. You will lose your parent. You will lose a friend. You will lose your brother, your sister. You will lose someone close to you. And nobody really knows what that's like until you go through it, right? And it's not something I would wish on anyone, but to learn to be compassionate and just, you know what? Sometimes you don't need to be just, you know, you could really stick it to somebody, but maybe that's not the right thing to do. That's not the caring thing to do.
Right.
And just learning, meeting all these people. I thought I had it bad. I met a lady that was an Uber driver. She had been married twice, and both her husbands had passed away.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my God, imagine if I had to go through this again.
Yeah.
So I'm over here feeling sorry for myself, but here's somebody that has dealt with the same thing twice. And so it made me really think, at any one point in time, right now, there are people suffering in the world, and they need compassion. They need someone to be nice to them. They need someone to be godly and loving and Christian, or whatever religion you are. That's the main thing that I learned from it. So when I hear you guys' story, it takes me back to that thing. And I think, if anything, I would love the fans, the viewers, to see this is, you know, we might be trying to get to some point that we're trying to do something cool, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to make it through our lives, just like everybody else. So,
Yeah.
so we hope that you will
Absolutely.
take that into consideration, you know, have some compassion, have some grace for yourself. But really, that's
And for the next
It's the
person.
journey.
Yeah.
But always be aware of like the people around you, and I have learned to be better at that. I was not always good at that, and I'm still not very good at it. But that's really the one thing that I would say, if I had to what is the one lesson I learned from that? At any one point in time, there's so much suffering in the world, and we need people to be empathetic and compassionate. And us just sitting in this round table talking about things that have happened to us, it's healing.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
So I commend you all for sharing, but I really think that I hope that the viewers see that this show can be funny, it can be dramatic, but really at the end of the day, we're just trying to figure our lives out, just like everybody else.
Spread the love, people. Nana, I'm ahead to you. What do you hope to bring to Manola TV as the A&R and director of content?
That's a great question.
What is A&R?
A&R is artistic and repertoire. So I'll give you a little gist on that. Basically, when record labels were structured properly, like back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, there was an arm of a record label that's A&R. And basically you would go out and you would bring artists into the record label and you would pitch to the executive heads as to why y'all believe that this artist fits our narrative or whatnot. You would develop the artist, and like Anthony was saying, you'd be a second ear, a third ear. You would clean the studio. You would help the producer. You would learn some of the tools, the skill sets in there, so that if like a producer like Anthony's not there, you can record the artist. You can help the artist with their music, so on and so forth. So that's basically what I am for 5M Studios. In terms of what I want to bring to the network, I'm gonna say just authentic content, right? And I mean that in like ideas that have not been done, movies, short films, music, like graphical designs, artworks, you know, and we're connected to a vast array of creatives, and so I hope to align my ideas with Tony's vision, Anthony's vision, Talal's vision.
Bring it together.
And bring it together. We have a great production team, right? Alexis, Sid, G-Day. And they're all individually talented. So collectively, like I was talking to Sid earlier, and he was like, we gotta shoot something. I say, yeah, I'm putting things together. I'm always about quality. I'm always about quality, right? So yeah, Tony and I are working. I'm just gonna say that, and within the next 2-3 years, y'all will see us evolve with more. And when I say more, like things that will catch the eye, that you'll be interested in, that you'll be locked in, that you'll be focused. Like you get off work, you're gonna go watch Manola TV.
And that's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what the brand is about.
Absolutely.
So we love to hear that. Talal, let me know, do you and the team want to stay in the studio space, or do you guys want to move?
The plan was initially for it to be kind of like an incubator space. It is still kind of in flux. I don't think by the time we ended filming, it wasn't really decided. Not really. Watch the episode, you'll kind of find out a little bit more about it. But it's still kind of up in the air with that space of what's going to happen. But the plan really was always, so Anthony used to run his own studio, but he can talk more about during COVID, he had to kind of close it up. So when I met him, I had always wanted to be a part of a recording studio. So that was something that we were able to secure that space. He had a bunch of the equipment already. You know, I've always had the inkling I want to be involved in it somehow. It's not really anything I know about, but so we kind of dabbled in it to kind of get it started, and it really took off. I mean, we haven't really formally like opened it like a formal studio would be open, because of the space it's in. But the idea was to see if we can make this work as a business, as a viable business, and then if we get it to where we can get some capital together, we can then do version 2 in like a more proper space. The space is okay. It's a nice space. It's in a close to where we live, but it's not a long-term growth type area space. So the short-term goal was always to maybe have it a year and a half in that space, and then if we can make it work, then grow to a better space. Because, you know, for those of you that run businesses or those of you who don't run businesses, you have to commit to a lease, you have to commit to certain, you know, build out, you have to get permitted, you have to, all these little things that, you know, we'll just set up a studio. It doesn't really.
You gotta get certified.
Doesn't really work like
Doesn't
that.
work that
So, if you ever see restaurants here in Gwinnett County, it takes them a year, 2 years to get open. So those are the kind of things you have to be well capitalized to be able to do. So as a smart business person, you want to kind of study what you're doing. So it was kind of a way to dip our toes in it, to see if this will work. We came up with a brand. We came up with, I think we've done a really good job with the space that we have. Whether we're allowed to stay there or not, you know, that's to be determined. But the goal never was to really stay in that space forever.
Okay.
So it's either gonna allow us to be there for a while, we can work something out with the landlords there, or we're gonna have to sit and regroup and see.
But we're not going to let that decide to end the brand, right? We're going to keep going.
No,
Keep
pushing
pushing.
on.
No,
Right.
but it's obviously if you lose your lease, that's a big problem. So
Yeah, it is.
so we're not sure kind of how that's going to go, but the plan never was. The plan was to try this, see if we can get it going, get a brand going, get our website, get our, you know, get a client base,
Up and running.
and then have a more proper, larger space that maybe we could use also for other parts, that maybe Manola could share some of that space. That has really been the goal, but we've kind of, I don't know, it might get accelerated, it might kind of delay it. I'm not really sure, but that's not going to be decided right away. So hopefully we're able to work all that. But this is, you know, kind of like it's a big deal for the studio, because we have to have a space to.
And we just got to find some structure as well. Once we have that structure, and
Yeah, we do need structure. I think that's something that, like a scheduled time as well, like a timetable. Not only just to record, but also just to see what we're capable of. I'm always about, like, you know, experimenting, and then just, you know, dedicating some amount of time to see what we can do and how we can also tend to the market.
yeah, you know, every business has their struggles, right? And that's what I like about this show, is that they get to see what we go through day on, day out, right?
Absolutely.
The day-to-day life.
Our future Manola home is going to have a space for grounded in grace and conversations and actual studio, all that great stuff, right? A lot of people don't know this. Fun factor, Manola TV, when we originally launched, we actually had a space, and it was a big podcast room and everything, but we saw fit to kind of phase that out because of the location that it was in. And so we're back at the foundation of building up again, but it was a beautiful space though. But we'll get there again in due time.
I see the growth.
We're going there. Yeah. We're there. We're getting there. The best is here. The greatest is on the way.
Oh, I like that. But Tony, just to keep the spotlight on you, you had a dramatic moment this season.
Oh.
Yes, you passed out during filming. How is your health now?
Are you okay?
Health is good. I'm diabetic type 2, and I also was diagnosed with fatty liver disease at stage 3. So it's the stage that's bad before it's bad, right? But luckily I caught it in time. I think when that happened, I was just very overwhelmed. I think with everything that I have going on, I have a career outside of this, and then also trying to run a network that is growing faster than what I thought it would grow. And I think it just kind of took a toll on my body that day. And in fact, we were doing something with Anthony. We were working on, I forget what we were working on.
We were working on a project, a song, and the good thing about it, that I know Tony from his past medical experience, so being there, that I was there at that moment, you know, I felt like I was well prepared what to do, just because of the whole situation.
Right.
So it was very unexpected, but yeah, I made sure that he was all right, you know, and we called it in. But overall,
We're glad that you're in good health and everything. You're feeling better.
I'm glad to be here, to be alive. I'm 43 years old. I'm not.
You don't look it.
I don't look it, but sometimes I feel it.
The body has
getting up in the morning, you're just like, damn, all this stuff is just laying up on me. Walking out of bed like this. You know what I'm saying? But But when I look in the mirror, it tells me, you're a 25-year-old man. Get out there and go.
Okay.
You
You can do it.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
I don't feel that I'm old. Some people that are my age look like they're 58.
Yeah. No, it's really true.
And I have someone that I have a neighbor. They're probably gonna know who I'm talking about when they watch this. But I have a neighbor that looks like that, and they're only 3 years older than me. So yeah, I don't. There's a saying. There's an old saying. Thank God I don't look like what I've been through.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen to that.
Yes.
I don't look like
When you look like what you've been through, it will show. But when you don't show it, that's something to talk about. That's something to really, pat yourself on the back about, because we have all in this room gone through something.
Right.
And, whether it was death or it was losing a job or a loved one, whatever it was, we've all gone through something. But no one here sitting in these chairs right now wears it on their face. And that's a blessing to have. So
We're glad that everybody's giving themselves credit, because everybody's doing an amazing job living their lives and juggling with personal life, creative life. You're doing amazing. But Tony, why Manola TV? Like, what inspired you to create this platform?
So before all of the whole TV stuff, I was actually signed to a record label back in 2007 to Music Records.
What?
So I'm a singer, recording artist, whatever you want to call it. I'm retired now. I don't really do a whole lot of singing now. But there was a time where I wanted to have a way for artists to display their craft, their talent. And, then they were charging us $700 to get on TV, sometimes more, right? And I was like, man, I ain't paying $700 to be on some little, cable sideshow show. That's crazy. So we created something called the Movement Radio, which was there for hip hop artists and R&B artists. And a lot of people say, oh man, no one's never gonna watch, TV online. That's stupid. This is in a time where streaming TV didn't exist.
Okay.
And so I still went forward with it. Didn't really get the feedback and the support that I wanted in it. So I put it on the back burner. And if you know me, you know that if it's on the back burner, it doesn't mean that I'm going to walk away and never come back. It just means that I'm going to give it some time to resonate and I'll come back to it when it's supposed to happen. And I did. I came back to it. And I came back to it during the pandemic. And I sat on the platform for a very long time. And finally, I just decided that I wanted to bring it to life. It was not originally called Manola. It was actually called For Us TV.
Okay.
And when I thought about it, I said, you know what, I want to take it away from For Us TV, because For Us TV was for, Black people and about us, right?
Right.
But it's not just about Blacks. It's about Hispanics. It's about whites. It's about Asians. It's about anyone who feels that they need to be, in TV.
Somebody that wants their voice heard.
Right. And I was like, what name could I give it and have a power behind it? And that was Manola. And Manola is my grandmother.
Oh.
And she was a colorful and vibrant individual, full of love. And she could cook her ass off. Like, she could cook and bake and throw it down in the kitchen, and them fried fish, oh my God, and the chicken wings. You ever had mustard fried chicken wings?
Oh, that sounds good.
Listen.
Ooh.
And all that cooking skill came over to me. But anyways.
Okay, so I need me some wings, or I placed an order, guys. I have placed an order. Would you like to place your order?
Yes,
You
please.
said mustard.
One of these days, I'll cook for y'all. One of these days.
Well,
Mustard
I'm looking
fried
forward
chicken.
to
When I'm
that.
not too busy, but my schedule's booked and busy, so
Excuses.
when it's not so booked and busy,
You gotta make time
I
for it,
invite
right,
y'all
Talal?
over.
Right?
I invite y'all over.
Prioritize Your
Correct.
family.
Correct.
Right.
Eating is
My grandmother was my everything, and I was raised by my grandmother and my grandfather, and they put a lot
Nina.
of just power in me, right? And I think that power is what makes me determined to always win, no matter what. No matter what the storm is, I always want to go forward with something that I'm very passionate about. And I just thank God that I continue to keep going no matter what. And when I was asked a question recently, we were filming for the documentary about my life, and the question that was asked was, why are you so passionate about Manola TV Network? And it's me making a legend of my grandmother's name because of who she was and what she stood for. She was into politics. She was into changing the way that it was for blacks in the 60s and the 50s in the town that we grew up in. And so she had a lot of involvement with changing how that happened. And because of her, there was restaurants that black people could go to and eat at because her and her friend opened the first one. So growing up and being a part of this such powerful person, why wouldn't I want to have my network named after her? So that's why Manola is in existence, and everything that we do is a quality. And of course, I got my family that's like, don't mess up our grandmother's name. You know how powerful it is. So I'm trying to build something that's great, and that, you know, when I see it, it's love. It's always love, and that's why I push it so hard. But I'm definitely just grateful for the opportunity that God gives me, and I have to say this. I can't say it, in the rest of this year or day without saying it. The opportunities that we get are because of God.
Yes.
And we don't choose them; He chooses them for us. And so we have to take those opportunities and do right by them. You may have 1 cent to your name, and if you take that 1 cent and you continue to make sure that it multiplies and multiply and multiply, it will multiply. But if you multiply it without Him in the mix, without Him as that CEO, it's not going to multiply, right? And so I didn't always know that. I didn't always have that formula. That formula came to me when I started listening to what He was saying. And when I started listening and He speaks, then I was able to come up with that formula. And now Manola TV Network is a prime example of the formula of God and what He has put in me to make it happen. And there are individuals in this room that is making the strength of Manola happen. So you all are a part of a legend, and that's my grandmother. Y'all gonna make me cry. Someone ask me more questions like that.
Things to add. So funny when we're talking about content, right? The running joke between me and Tony, I was like, would Miss Manola approve of this content?
Oh, yeah.
Miss Manola.
But you know, when I first was approached by Tony to invest in the network, because he started the network on his own, and I came in later, I was kind of going through my own spiritual, journey. And one of the seminars I went to talked about how to be a good person and to have God or the Holy Spirit or whatever you believe in to push you and guide you in your life. Part of what you have to do is you have to honor your ancestors.
Right.
And I think it's beautiful. We talked about this in one of the episodes. What a great opportunity to create a platform where we can all be creative. We can create a platform where others can create, and then we can do it all in the name of a great person and further her name and legacy. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Miss Manola.
I couldn't do it without everyone that's on this set right now. It's, it can be one, but you need many. You need a village.
You always need a village
to make it happen.
That
And
is true.
this is a village of very strong individuals, and we may not always see eye to eye. Me and Talal get into it all the time about stuff, because I'll call him and be like, we got to do this. He's like, no, I don't think we should do that. And I'm like, why? But
because Miss Manola would not approve. Like, that's why.
Says that. I was like, man.
Keep them on check, okay?
And he's like, and he goes, what would your grandmother say if you did that? I'm like, no, you had to go there. Why are you doing that?
Keeping you in check.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to give credit to, it's just not us, right? It's our production crew, and I got to give shouts out to Jade, Sid, and Alexis.
How did you feel about the tension between you and Ericka on this?
Tension.
Yes, in this season.
We've had some tension, I guess, right?
Like,
a little bit,
a
but
little bit. Well, so we're different, okay? We're completely different. You can see it from a mile away just by looking at us, how
Right
different we
now.
are. And then in personalities, our personalities are different, you know? So, but somehow, God knows why he did it, we were placed in each other's path to do something great together.
Right.
And so we're trying to find the middle within the differences and to bring different walks of life that can see her point of view, that can see my point of view. So it has, we have our moments, but we know how to talk it out. We know when to give each other space and learn to respect each other's space and family or lives, you know. It's a balance. It's a balance, you know. So, yeah.
I mean, since we have both of you guys here,
Yeah.
is there anything you want to say to Ericka?
Hi, Ericka.
What's up?
It's nice to see you again.
Has it been?
Yeah, I know. It's nice to see you again. It's been a couple of hours. What do I want to say to you, Ericka?
We just ate some strawberries together.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. To be honest, I've learned a lot from you. You know, I've always been very hard-headed and I always buck. I have a tendency of bucking. She's, this is our conversation. I have a tendency of bucking, all right? And I always used to like to take control of things myself. And she taught me to listen. She taught me that it's okay to try new things and to open up my mind in different ways, and that it's okay to be different. And just, I don't know, she taught me how to commune with community, because I was always a solo person. You taught me a lot, man. You taught me a lot.
Look,
You've done a lot in my yeah. So it feels like, even though we've known each other for what, a year, a little more than a year, but it feels like a long time. Yeah. I mean, granted, no, I'm not gonna make you just cry. No, she gets on my nerves, okay? No.
Say how you feel.
Yes, and she knows it, but it's because of my character. And she has a way of, even with who I am and how complicated I can be, hold on, stop. She takes me for who I am, and she's this hug that I can come to every day. So I'm very grateful to have her in my life.
We love
I'm
the
very
sister
grateful.
bond.
Yeah.
God knew what he was doing. So
I'm a first generation Latina, and I grew up with the pressure of having to be the top of the top, having to have that career, that 9 to 5, and I ended up in this struggle, in the journey of trying to figure out what is life, and ended up meeting my Lord and Savior, and I left my really good paying top healthcare position and wanting to start over.
it was demanding.
It was so demanding. I left, but this time starting over with experience. And so I had a vision, and we met, we talked it out, and my heart goes out to people that are struggling and that are also going through their journey. And so when I think of making it in the ATL, I think of, well, what are you doing? We're trying to make it in life. And how do we do that?
Right.
We can't. It's hard. It's hard being busy, trying to figure out and balance everything on your own. It's hard trying to go through grief, and you feel that pit within your soul, and trying to make it through, knowing who's been there, the one person that's been there to give you that kindness, that person that just wants to hear you out and know that you're still loved for who you are. And to me, that's what grounding in grace is building that ministry to bring others journey, others testimonies, and knowing that we aren't alone. We're in this together, and there's so much more for people, and it takes that courage to break the society's culture, to just leave feeling dead inside, battling depression, anxiety, it's not meant to be. It's not. There's more out there in life.
Right.
And it took me meeting Dina to break whatever strongholds I had and bring out that boldness within me, because I couldn't do this without her. And so I thank you, because I see how we work through together and meet people that we've never met before, and how we're all similar. We're all one body, one blood, and
Right.
we're all just trying to figure this life together. And thank you.
You know, something else to add to that.
That was impactful.
You said we're always together, but you know, not everybody's always gonna feel that way.
No.
I could tell you tons of stories of when people will take my grief and my tragedy and my, you know, being down and use it to push me down further or step on my head. So that's when having a group like this, or knowing that there are good people that do care about
Yes.
you, that you can care about yourself and not get caught up in that, because the world is
It's a brutal place.
very brutal
It's
place.
dark, it's terrible, and I think it's still gonna go darker.
Well, that's the thing, you know, I never had that. So it's like, when you came along, why do you think I always bucked? Why do I was just like always keeping you at a distance, you know? At the beginning, it was not easy, but she was determined. She was determined, and I knew that, you know, God had sent her for a good purpose, you know, because I had just prayed about it the week before. And I was like, okay, God, I want to get stronger in faith. And I'm ready for you to send somebody to me so I can be in communion and in a community, start a community, and not be by myself anymore. You know, yeah, I have my husband, I have my kid, but I'm in community. And then this girl shows up, you know, and she was just a ball of fire, just fireworks or daisies, whatever you want to call it, you know, because she was just so flamboyant, so happy, so cheery. And every time I would try to shut her out, I would shut a lot of people out all the time. I trust myself. I never trusted people. People always end up hurting me, and I always had that wall up. And she kept digging and saying, nah, I'm not that person. I'm a good person, you know? And she opened me up again and taught me to almost feel human again. You know, so now I'm happier. I express my emotions a lot more, obviously. You know, and I have more hope in humanity. And now I wanna bring all other people to that, because this world is getting worse. Mm-hmm. It's the people are being they're more selfish. They're so greedy. People are becoming all me, you know. And but we need to come together. This is the time. And yes, everything fall in place. Same with Tony. When I told him our story, and he was like, no way. Well, guess what? Yeah. I got Manola that I'm starting. And I was like, what is that? And then he explained to me, and then we were trying to play. It was just all like orchestrated so beautifully. And I got to meet so many amazing, wonderful, smart, talented, quirky, you know, babushka, you know, people, smart, you know. I mean, if I didn't meet Talal, I would have kept still on my heavy drinking. You know that, right? I get to be myself around you. Every time I see you, I'm like, I'm good with the pink then. You know, it's like, I can do whatever, yeah. You know, and then you are the kindest heart ever. You allowed us to go into your studio and let us just pour our little puny hearts out, singing, whatever came out. And you were so understanding and loving, and it really helped us out a lot, because we were going through a rough patch. Yeah. And Tony, you gave us a platform, a voice to speak on, and we can relate. I mean, even before Manola, you know, we clicked, and you were always that big hug, and my son always says, Tony, where's my quarter? Because you know, it's a backstory. All the time. Yeah, so he got my son to talk. It's just, you know, it all comes together beautifully. And then I continue to meet more people, and I'm starting to see the good in people. I'm not so walled off, and it all started with you. You know?
I will say this, I've known you for 3 years.
Thanks, Talal.
And the new you, I loved you then, but I love the new you even more, because when we first met, you were very like timid. You were like, but But now you're just so full of life and all these talents that I see in you. You're editing, you're doing Grounded in Grace with Ericka, and you're giving me advice when I feel like the world is coming to an end. And so that's strength, that's power. And I'm glad that I'm here and alive to see that triumph in you. That
you
change.
did get to see me in a dark state.
Oh, yeah.
I would come to him crying sometimes, and I would be scared to even like look up. I couldn't even look up. So So now this is what I want to show people, and that's what this platform should be about. That's what we're doing in our Christianity, in what we want to start with our ministry. But that's exactly what you guys are doing too in Manola. You know, you guys are giving opportunities for people to speak, to express themselves in so many different ways. Like you said, it's music, it's art, it's paint, it's this and it's that, you know. So it's a beautiful platform, and with great people, there's no way but up.
I do want to add in that I just want to say thank you, because during this journey within making it in the ATL, I thought it was just over our heads, and I started getting really discouraged. And as any business, you have to, when you're going from the ground up, there's a lot of challenges. And then when we met Anthony to go sing, and I was in a really, really depressive state, and I thought everything was just gonna go down the drain, but you kept going. You had perseverance, and I felt bad because I feel like I couldn't meet what we were trying to do anymore because of my health issues. And I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. I had PCOS coming up, and some other GI issues. And now, because you pushed me to go get checked, go get seen, now I've gotten the resources. I got it under control. Yeah. I'm not swollen anymore like I used to. You look good, thank you. But it's like, it takes a village. It takes a support system. Yeah. It takes people to just say, yeah, come on, let's just sing it out and figure it out. Just don't put me on air. Please don't ever put me on air. And it's hard navigating a land that we're not familiar with and trying to figure things out one step at a time, but having that hope, having that dream, knowing that there's so much more out there, it's just what keeps us going and going. And even though the world is so dark, we know that we're all filled with that light.
But we're all looking for light. So that's what this is, right? And so this is giving everybody hope. It's giving somebody to look forward to, you know. That's why I was like, I can't wait to see more people show up in this platform, to be able to give that what they wish they could have gone, you know. Not just YouTube, okay? This is something more than that. I feel like by really helping, coaching people, finding their role and their passion that they want to show, you know, everybody else, this is perfect for that, you know. And you guys are a great team, so you guys need to keep going, stick, you know, together, keep it strong. We're all gonna bump heads sometimes, because look at how many different personalities. We're all so different. You see this? But look how beautiful it comes together.
But at the end, we're all humans, and we all deal with the human condition, human emotion, and human issues, human problems.
Right.
So
I think that if we have
to remember that.
Right.
I think that if you don't face adversity, life is very bland or boring.
That's true.
Most people who go through things, you have a story to tell. Ericka has a story to tell. Dina has a story to tell. Tony has a story to tell. Talal has a story to tell. Anthony has a story
Everybody,
to tell.
Everybody, yes.
Even the host has a story to tell, right? So when you're going through adversity, you evolve by overcoming your obstacles.
Right.
You talk about being in a depressive state. People don't understand that it is very real.
It's real.
So my closest friend, Selim, he experienced depression at an all-time high, where like suicide was like, that's what he was gonna do, right? That was when I really understood that people go through things and don't know how to, they don't have a support system like you're talking about, right? And you know, he's overcome that, and he's in a much better place, and so are a lot of my other friends. But it just goes to show that like, you don't know what she's going through. Like I just spoke about an autoimmune disease, and I know that God has his hand on you, so you are gonna be okay. But
Amen.
It's like Talal said earlier, like you don't know what people are going through. Just be a decent person, right? But ultimately, yes, overcoming your obstacles and the fact that you had Dina to help you acquire resources in order for you to overcome. Like you've elevated yourself, your confidence and your mindset, and what you want to do is further along. And I can say that because of when I first met you two.
Yeah.
Right? Like a little bit more timid, shy, but now you're able to speak. And I love the fact that you're vocalizing. That's why I'm just very quiet. I like that. I've never heard you speak with such passion before.
Right?
I'm very mind blown at the fact that like you can talk.
Well, I'm a yapper.
Oh, I'm a yapper too. So I like fellow yappers, but I'm just very surprised. Oh, she can speak. Oh.
And good.
And good, like
Really good.
you can speak. I'll do this all the time, girl. But yes, yeah. So like it's growth. Like I said when I was here, I said growth, right? And so it's very beautiful. I like that, and continue to be confident in who you are, even when you don't know what you're doing, or when you don't know how it's going to turn out or navigate. We have God on our side, so you don't need to know about how it's going to end up, because He already knows, and if He got you on the path, He's a God of goodness, so you're gonna reap the benefits of that. But yeah, props to you. I just really wanted to say that. Props to you. I like that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
This is, and I've heard everything that you both have said, and then I have to also be able to sit and hold my emotions back, because making it in the ATL is not about glitz and glam. It's not about how much money you have, the fancy cars that you drive. It's really showing people the authentic self of who we are. We have these careers, but we also have these side hustles that we want to be successful with, that we eventually want to make it our career and our full time. But outside of that, we're not hiding who we truly are. We're showing, yes, I will get emotional, but why can you do it in a room full of people like this? Why? Because one, we're all CEOs. There's not just one, everyone in this room are CEOs, right? And you're gonna have that boss status until the day that you die. But two, it's because when God is in the mix, when God is allowed to do what He does, however you worship Him, right? But when He's allowed to do what He does, this is what love looks like. Right. So when you hear that word LOVE and you think about it, love is not hurt, love is not pain, right? Love is always joy and happiness. So when you're in a room and you can get emotional, you can show your vulnerable self, you can show who you truly are. That's what safety is. And that's why we're able to be, making it in ATL. We're able to show that we are a group of people who probably didn't know each other from yesterday, right? From a can of paint. But now we've joined together, we've joined a strong, powerful force, and we have each other's back. We can call and we can talk. There's no judgment on any phone call or conversation that we have with each other, because it's love. And that's what God is all about. So it's amazing.
Yeah, as a mother, as a wife, as a student, as all the hats that we juggle, right? This is a beautiful platform to allow people to just be authentic, to just go with it and go with what people are called to do. And I'm excited for the fans, the viewers, to just go for it and don't hold back.
Yeah, don't hold back.
The sky is not the limit.
Never.
Amen. Amen.
Of course. Anthony.
Yes.
We're going to wrap it up with you. But tell me, there was a little bit of back and forth between Tony and Angela about a theme song?
Yeah, so we were planning on doing an intro song for making it in the ATL.
Okay.
So I had talked to him about Angela, this up and coming artist, Afrobeat, and I played him one of the songs, and he was like, "Oh, that right there fits the vibe for the show." Okay. So I was like, "All right, let me bring Angela so you can introduce himself to him," and everything just went downhill after that.
Oh. Well, we need a little bit of a breakdown. Yeah. What went downhill?
Good thing that I was in there in the situation, because if I wasn't there, it probably could have escalated. But the first few minutes it was okay, but up front, when new artists, when they know that they're talented, they expect something out of it, right? Which is totally understandable, right? But nothing is just given to you. You have to earn it, right? So building a platform where we're just allowing artists to come up, right, and being part of the show in general, that will help himself as an individual. But if you want to relate to the response that you gave to him after he asked about having some type of incentive.
He wanted to be compensated for the use of the theme song up front. And I flat out said, that's the issue that I have with some black people now, is that when it comes to collaborating with each other and not working where we could say, hey, I may not have $20,000 to give to you today, but if we work together, keyword, together, we can get to that 20,000 in some. But if you're throwing a price tag and I give you $200 and that's it, but we go back and this becomes a multi-million-dollar franchise, don't come knocking at the door asking for additional funds, because you're not going to get it. You wanted 200, that's what you got. You know what I mean? So, and then I went on to say that I've been in this industry for too long to know how my people work. Now, many won't agree, and I don't care if you agree or not. It's my experience. I'm from Miami, and a lot of artists and the producers down there will close the door in a very talented individual's face because they don't got 20 grand to walk into their studio and record a song that they know that if you gave that artist a chance, they can make a big break on it. So I think that some people will see it my way, some people will see it their way, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm stern in my belief that if we work together better, we'll be more successful.
Now, how I observed it from an outside perspective looking in, I feel like the approach could have been differently, because I know Angela personally. I know he's very humble, and he just started out singing, right? This is his first year. And I identified that talent there. I was like, bro, you should come into the studio. I was like, I think you have potential. So he didn't even know he had potential himself. Like, I worked with him at my other job, and he would just constantly sing. So when I heard that voice, I'm like, yeah, he got it, right? So just having him, taking the time, like utilizing my time outside, like helping him record, for him to say he needed something up front, I had to step in. I was like, bro, all the time that I've been working with you, have I ever charged you for anything? Right? And he saw that as, nah, you're right. He's like, look, because I'm investing in you, because I know you have that potential to make it, right? But I never asked you for a dime. And that's the whole thing about 5M Studios. In order to build a brand, we got to identify the talent first, right? And so that we're not trying to charge up front. I know I talked to Talal, we're trying to do a soft opening, but I don't care about the money. The money will come later on, but the sense we have to build that brand, what we stand for. It's helping other artists develop themselves to become great. Like I said, they don't have resources. And if they don't have the resources, they're not going to pursue their talent, right? So being able to have that set location to help them move up from that, that's what 5M is about, right?
Yeah, it was really, my idea was to make a affordable way. I mean, it's still a business at the end of the day. We can't like just lose money, in perpetuity. But if we can provide a way where, we can charge a nominal fee to cover our expenses and our time, and maybe somebody that wouldn't otherwise be able to afford studio time with the type of equipment that we have can get in there and really develop their talents. That's really what my goal was, and it kind of mirrors the Manola side. So it's kind of like the music side, and then you have the...
But in order, when you start a business, you're always going to go through that stages, right?
No, and I'm saying, but the goal overall was to provide where we have a platform where people can come in and pay some money and explore their talent, but they might not have the money that you need to get into a big studio. Like a big time, studio engineer might want, $10,000, $20,000, like you were saying, to help you record your song, but we're not going to charge you anywhere near that. But and sometimes the studio just donates their services in exchange for developing that artist. So it gives us the flexibility, but it creates a platform where people that otherwise would not have access to that can now explore their talents. And that's really what I feel very proud to be a part of something like that.
It's an amazing journey. I have seen power and strength in every single person. I've been sitting here throughout this entire, reunion show and hearing the stories and the breakthroughs from every individual person is just amazing. And, I don't have all the answers to everything. God does, but I don't.
Right.
But when he speaks, I listen. And I'm glad that I listened. I'm glad that I took the steps that he gave me and look at what happens, And there's so much more that we have to do. There's so many more things that we have to cover. And going through what I have went through with my health, and we can kind of relate a little bit, even though our diagnoses are different, but it has been very hard on my mental health.
Right.
And I've actually started some counseling to help me get through some of those things. But when you're diagnosed with what I deal with and what Ericka deals with, it changes how you eat. Mm-hmm. You eat a piece of meat that could kill you.
Yep.
You
Right.
eat something that can make you swell up and you be sick the entire day. So I've dealt with that for the last 7 months. And, I went from never having to use a needle to now I have to inject myself every Monday morning just so that I could survive. And it's not like, well, you have a choice not to. And there's no cure for some of these things. So you're just hoping that based on what research found, that it will reverse this or reverse that. But there's a saying that my grandmother would always say, to God be the glory.
God be the glory.
And we are headed for something amazing, despite what's happening in the world on the outside. Because I decided to stop being the soldier in that battle. And I stepped aside. I put that battled armor down, and I allowed God to start fighting those battles for me. And I encourage everyone to do that. We have no strength to fight the war that's out there, but God does.
Yes.
And making it in the ATL, it serves a purpose. And it's going to continue to serve a purpose, just like Manola TV, just like 5M Recording Studios. Everyone in here, we all have purposes. And I just hope and pray that every mission and every purpose and every driven thing that makes us get up out of bed. There's mornings where I couldn't even get up out of bed, but I got up. There's times where you guys will call me, it's 11:30, and it's like, what are you doing? It's a work day. I haven't even left the house yet because I don't feel good. But I push through because I've said it to several people in here. I get excited when I know that we're doing something that means the world to me. You can ask some of the production guys when I talk to them. When I know that I get to watch a preview of something or something's been done or completed, I get excited about that. Because when I'm not looking forward to something exciting, then I'm dealing with the pains that I have and the constant, you can relate.
And I think all of us can relate to that. We all have our passion.
Yeah.
So you have this, you have the music, you have your career, you have yours, and that's what drives us, you know? And even then, sometimes we have those low moments and it's hard, and that's what's important about the community.
Right.
And that's why we should reach out more to each other. We shouldn't have to wait so long for us to get together like this, because everybody has such a good head on their shoulders, and I learn from each and every one of y'all.
Y'all CEOs up in here.
Yeah, seriously. So
Big
yeah,
bosses.
it's beautiful,
Just to let you guys know that 5M Studios has an on-order first aid kit and tissue box in there, so we're well prepared. Yeah.
Good job, yay!
It's hilarious.
Yeah, we needed tissues.
We need a tissue
We needed tissues.
and water.
I want to say something really quick before we get out of here. Talal, thank you for believing in me when I came to you, well, over almost a year ago now, and sit down in your office and I talked to you and I said, hey, I have this, project that I'm working on. And there was no hesitant there. It was, I presented what I wanted. He was like, what do you need? Let's go. And here we are. And we've made it possible, and we're here, and we were on a horrible platform. It was like, serving stale ice cream on an ice cream truck, basically. And, you know, to now we're
Melted ice
on
cream.
multiple platforms.
Stale bread.
We're they've definitely stale bread, old bread with mold on it, and but now we're on, you know, multiple platforms. We're on Fire Stick, Apple TV. We have an iOS app. We have Android app.
Okay.
Our website looks amazing. Our social media is monetizing. This does not happen when you first start out. It takes time, and it takes a long time.
It
to
takes
get there,
years, yeah.
And people always say,
Dedication.
"Why is it that you're doing all this now?" And I say, you know, I might hold a title with Manola as CEO, but the real CEO on this, and I keep saying it, is God. And this is the work of God. This is how God works. So I just want to say thank you, everybody. Again, I love you all, but you always know God will always love you more, right?
Of course.
And I hope that next season is just as strong, and we all, you know, stay connected. You know what I mean? This is safety. This is safe. This is what family is. This is what making it in the ATL is.
Can we clap to that? That was beautiful.
I love you too.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Proud
man.
of y'all. I'm proud of all of y'all. Y'all are truly amazing people, and I think that the news that I'm about to share with you right now is because of everyone that has followed up and checked in on me and just kind of been there. So I got some blood work done, and it came back, and did a couple scans, and my liver, when you start out with liver disease, the scarring is what can determine where you go. And the higher the scarring, the worse it is. So it can turn to cirrhosis and then eventually to cancer. Well, we've reversed that, and it's down to about 14%, which means that the process that I've been on with the injections and all that stuff is working.
Yay! That's great.
It's
Turn
phenomenal.
around.
That's amazing.
So it's going to turn around. I've lost the weight that they needed. I was 290 pounds a few years ago, and now I'm down to 186.
Wow.
186.
Wow.
And
Congratulations.
I got
That's
a few
amazing.
more that I need to go, because I want to get rid of the stomach right here.
But you're looking good, Tony.
Yes, you're looking
You know what I
good.
mean? I'm trying
We
to
need
have
you
like
around,
that
Tony.
six-pack.
We need to keep this going. The six pack.
But when I
So
go
you
in
can
the
look
gym and I see
Yeah,
all these other
yeah.
people over there, you know, I'm like, yeah.
Hey, it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to have shy abs, you know?
Shy abs. I
Or
never
I could
heard
just
that
go. I
one.
could just go to the implant doctor and get it done.
We're not doing
It's
that.
cheap, like everybody
We're
does
not-
in
we're not-
Hollywood.
We're not doing
Y'all are amazing. Y'all are amazing, and everyone looks so great. I'm so like I'm just thrown back. You know, we've come a long way.
You guys have, and I've seen the love, I've seen the growth, I see the safety, and we want more people, more creatives to find this platform and to be able to share their ideas, their creativity, and let the world know. And so we ask God to give us strength and keep pushing. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing your stories.
This was great.
And before we wrap up, let us ask, Tony, what kind of, or what advice would you give to a viewer out there?
Don't give up. It's gonna be tough before it gets better.
Right.
And you know, a few ships will sink, but you will wake back up and have another one that's gonna be floating that you can get back on. And you know, finally, when you get on that one that floats and never sinks, let that pilot that's helping you guide that ship guide it, because that pilot is the pilot that you want.
Right.
And I think that's the best advice that I can give to anyone. Just keep going, keep trying, don't give up.
Keep pushing. Ericka, what about you?
Being in a state of being humble, always being teachable. You can know so many things, but there's so much more to learn, and especially from others. And being in a state of humble, just being humble and learn and be teachable.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful. Anthony.
Just to grow yourself and those around you. You know, don't, for any talented artists or musicians or creators, don't let nobody stop you from doing what you're doing. And I feel like just keep
Yes, sir. Talal, what would you say?
My advice would be, I guess the biggest lesson I've learned is I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. So when you're young, you know, you're in your 20s, you're starting out your life, you think you're invincible, you know everything, and life will smack you down on your ass many, many times, right? So remember that. I would say the hardest, I've always been my own worst critic, my own worst enemy. I get in my head. I tend to have what's called analysis paralysis. I want everything to be perfect, and I end up like a deer in headlights. So that's been a real struggle for me. So then I get really hard on myself, but then I've been learning to give myself grace, to give yourself credit for where you are. You're not perfect. You're figuring it out. Your journey is your own journey. Your journey is not mine. Mine is not yours. Same thing. You have your own journey, and you are exactly where you need to be. So I would tell everyone, you're where you're supposed to be. Learn from every mistake you make, because nobody does life perfect. If not, nobody would learn anything. So give yourself the grace and the knowledge to know that you're going to make the mistakes, but actually learn from them. Because if you make, what do they call the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. So I would say, take all that together. That would be my advice. So I really have more than one tidbit, I would say.
Thank you, Talal. Nana, what about you?
I'm gonna go off what Tony said. He said, don't give up. Your life can change like in a matter of moments, seconds. So when you're dreaming, dream far and wide, cast your net far and wide. Because literally you can meet somebody who will flip a switch and your life has changed. And that's what this platform has given to us. So I encourage all creatives and people who express their artistry and their personalities. Your life can change in a minute. Don't give up.
All right. Thank you, Nana. Dina?
Last but not least.
Of course, save the best for last.
Well, I don't have it all figured out, obviously, and I don't think we ever do. But the biggest advice that I've learned in these few years, actually recent years, is you don't have to do it alone. Always find somebody. There's people that will get you and will love you for you. And it's so much easier with people around, so surround yourself with positive people, and it's gonna be okay. Find yourself a team, your own community, and don't do it alone. There's no point. We need each other, so yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much once again. Thank you for sharing stories. Thank you for sharing advice. It's been an incredible season and an unforgettable reunion. Season 2 will be coming out soon, so keep a heads out for that. We're gonna see more drama, more love, more everything. Thank you guys.